So, first and foremost, this is the first video I am working on since eclipsing the 100 subscriber count, which I believe it's even above that now. I think it's like 120, I'm not sure what the exact number is. But either way, all I can say is wow, followed by thank you. Obviously, it's been a lot of fun showing off my fish, the tanks, and this fish room is already, from a little over a month ago from when I started, has already expanded. So in honor of going over 100 subscribers, I thought, you know what, let's go ahead and show how the fish room has changed here in the last little over a month here. Let's do an updated fish room tour. So keep in mind, as I do this, I currently have 15 tanks, in case you missed that, currently in the fish room. Currently working on getting number 16 down here, and I swear I'm going to do a video about what's going on there very soon here. So while I want to take a little bit of time here to show you off each tank and tell you what's all in it, if I went ahead and went in too much detail about each tank, we'd all be here for quite a good deal longer. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see the fish room. So the first tank here I'll show real quick is probably one that you're all very familiar with. This is my 20-gallon long beta community tank, and my black crown tail beta here, Raider, shares this with 5 ember tetras, as well as some common pond snails and a ghost shrimp. The plants have just really taken off in here, and it looks so cool. And it's also kind of helped the ember tetras feel more comfortable with swimming towards the front. And as you can see, Raider really pays no mind to them. They'll get along just fine, as long as the ember tetras don't go after his food, that is. On the table with that tank is a 40-gallon breeder, in case some fish lay eggs or live breed, of course. And then right next to it is a snail and shrimp tank that is mostly used for feeding the predator fish and all that. Although I do like occasionally taking some snails and shrimp out of there to put in the tanks just to clean up some things and help make maintaining the tanks a little easier on me. Next up is my 7-gallon semi-hex tank, where I have 2 fish, and it's kind of looking bleak in here towards the back. Might need to get some background plants here in the near future. In the meantime though, as you see on the glass, this is my panda gara. He's getting close to full grown. They only get about 2.5 inches. My panda gara's name is Crowley, and coming out from the archway there, that is my powder blue dwarf gourami, and his name is Aziraphale. And in case you're wondering, or get the reference, yes, they are named after the main characters from the show Good Omens. And boy, has this tank changed last. Here is a 20-gallon high, and here is the new fish. Wait a minute, he looks familiar, right? Well, he's kind of a mixture between Raider and Phantom, who you'll see in a minute. And this is a white crown tail beta, and he currently has this 20-gallon all to himself. I'm thinking of maybe getting another tetra in here to share it with them, as I have a Madagascar lace here, and with some hornwort and some other plants. And yeah, he just came in here a couple days ago. See, I'm recording this Wednesday, this will probably come out Thursday. And yeah, he's only been in here a couple of days, and he's already getting well acquainted. Speaking of betas, and I promise you're not seeing deja vu here, this is Phantom, my white platinum, believe, half moon beta, and he resides inside this 4-gallon column, where he has lived about a year and a half now, I'd say, in this tank, and he has been absolutely gorgeous in here. The black background and the plants with the black sand. He does have some common snails in here to kind of help me keep the tank cleaner, since it is a smaller tank, and so far it's worked out pretty good. He is the first beta of the trio that I have amongst Raider and the other white crown tail beta, which name is yet being decided on. Right above Phantom here real quick, where Finley used to be, I've kind of turned this tank into at least a temporary plant nursery, where I got a few Amazon swords, some hornwort, I believe I got a crypt over there in the corner, as well as some Rotella indica that I trimmed off another plant earlier. And so far it's working out pretty well. I don't know, maybe I should leave it as is and just let these plants grow and see what happens. So all the people that have seen my fish room in person, this is probably their favorite tank. This is a 75-gallon community tank. Lots of different fish in here. Real quick in the log, there is a black ghost knife. You can kind of see his fin there. Yeah. And then there's also striped Raphael catfish in there. I promise I'm actually going to get better shots of them on camera for you just to prove that I got these guys at some point. Otherwise, you see there, got a koi angel, a couple clown loaches, 3 roseline sharks, 2 scarlet rainbows, 3 Bosemani rainbows. Also got an Australian rainbow as well as a river rainbow in here. And they have all lived inside this tank happily, and it's probably one of my favorite tanks for sure, if not the favorite tank. I mean, got a lot of tanks that are hard to separate from one another, but yeah, this for sure is one of my favorites. In the background, got some Amazon swords, and Anubias, jungle val to name a few, and put all the color of the fish with all these plants, and it's just a gorgeous setting to me. Over on the other side of the room, we have this 10-gallon tank where I hold 2 pea puffers. And thank goodness they like heavily planted tanks, because as you can see, I have some vals that have really taken off in here. Unfortunately, so has some algae. Fortunately, the algae's been getting a little bit better from when it was earlier. Still got a little ways to go. But nonetheless, they have lived in this 10-gallon tank for just shy of 2 years. Actually, the more I think about it, it's been over 2 years. So these guys are full adults, and this is about as big as they'll get. Thinking a move might happen for these guys soon. And into what tank? Well, let me show you right here and right now. Alright, so we got right here is a 20-gallon hex tank. And this is where I'm thinking of eventually moving the pea puffers after, of course, I remove its current inhabitants, which in the meantime includes a copper molly with 3 Corydoras, as well as a ghost shrimp. I'm thinking of moving those guys over to Finley's former tank, the 29-gallon, where I think they'll be happy. And I can probably get the copper molly a couple of maybe platy friends, or maybe get them some Dalmatian mollies, or jet black mollies, or just other copper mollies. Either way, I think they'll be happier in that 29, whereas a pea puffer colony, I think, would look really cool in this tank. Hey, here's a little guy that looks pretty familiar, right? It's Finley! So Finley, as you saw in the recent video, got moved into this 150-gallon tank less than a week ago from now, and he is already loving life. He's gotten already well acquainted. The only difference in here really is just got his piece of driftwood from the 29 out and moved it over to here, as well as the Java moss that was attached to it, just kind of to fill in that little big open sandy spot. Still probably not done. A lot of this stuff might get moved as I have a bigger piece of driftwood that I'm planning on moving in here down the road once I find out a way to properly sanitize it and clean it. But otherwise, he is loving this tank. He's swimming up and down trying to tell me that it's getting time to feed him.
Duh.
So if you had to make me pick a favorite tank besides a 75-gallon tank, this would probably be it. This is a 46-gallon bow front, and the plants have just also really taken off in this, much like that 20-gallon long, the crown tail beta. And in here, as you see, saying hello to us, is my marble angel and gold pearl scale angel. These two are a mated pair, and they've moved a few tanks, but now this is where I think they'll probably stay for good, as this is a good tank for them to be able to lay their eggs, and hopefully one of these times I can raise the fry and see what their offspring looks like. I think a marble mixed with a gold pearl scale could really produce some very beautiful babies, and very curious to see what that would look like. Right next to them is a 55-gallon African cichlid tank. This, to those of you that may not know, was a birthday present to me by my lovely fiance. And in here we have 2 electric yellow cichlids, also known as yellow labs. We have a male and a female. Looks like the female over there in the corner by the volcano.
Mount Wanahakalugi.
Otherwise, in here we got some peacock cichlids, and little fun fact, as I said in a video a while ago, this is my only fake planted tank. However, it's one of the very few tanks where I actually have a real rock. This is a Texas holy rock, and this is very beneficial to this tank as African cichlids require a higher pH level. I try to keep mine at about 8.0, and this Texas holy rock, as well as the sand here, helps maintain exactly that for me. And right across the way from that African cichlid tank is this 125-gallon goldfish tank. As you heard in my recent goldfish video, the 5 comets in here came from my future mother and father-in-law's pond. However, the pump and the filter to that pond kept breaking down, so it just became a bit of a burden, and they decided to move on from the pond, which turned out okay because now they got this tank all to themselves. The fantail was a recent addition right before I got the 125, and honestly I'm starting to think maybe of adding another fantail, maybe 2 in here. I think it might be a nice little look to, yeah, you know, 5 comets, maybe 2, 3 fantails in here I think would look really cool. Maybe a ranchu or a calico in here with these comets would look really cool. Real quick, this tank is in the works. As you can see, I got water in here, got a little bit of a white sand substrate in here, as well as a pirate ship in here. Arrgh. So as this tank is cycling, I'm trying to debate on what I want to put in here. Said earlier that I think maybe a tiger barb tank would be really cool, you know, get typical tiger barbs, put in some albinos with them, as well as some green tigers, and I think this could be really, really cool. And there it is. This concludes the extended fish room tour. If you like a certain tank or like the whole fish room, give this video a thumbs up. If you have a favorite tank, favorite fish, leave it in the comments below there. I'd love to hear what your favorite tank is or your favorite fish is. And if you like what I do on this channel overall, fish folk, consider subscribing to my channel to stay in a loop with everything that I do, from getting new fish to new tanks to down the road some fish store visits, maybe even some public aquarium visits in some places. All sorts of things. As I have said before, this channel is just getting started and there's lots more to come. Till the next video, everyone, Fintastic Freaks signing out.